From the Weekly Echo newspaper on May 17th, 1940. Brother J.B. Bryant. The late J.B. Bryant of Meridian, Mississippi was laid to rest a few weeks ago in the Meridian Cemetery. Brother Bryant was the man who made the motion that the editor be elected secretary of the Holbrook Benevolent Association in July 1916. At that time, the entire association was not as large as 4 of our best lodges. Brother Bryant was a close friend of the young family. He was a dependable man, loved his race, loved his family. He was honest and thought for himself. As an agent for the Holbrook Benevolent Association, he was one of the best that we have ever had. He knew how to organize people. He had been in ill health for some time. However, at times when we would meet him and he would come to the office, he would express his deep love for the HBA. We extend to the entire family our deep sympathy for the loss of such a noble character. From the Weekly Echo newspaper on July 12, 1940. Mr. Frank Berry, the manager, co-partner of the Berry and Gardner Funeral Home, passes. Thursday morning, July 11th, about 4 o'clock, the Grim Reaper took from Meridian one of the most outstanding citizens of our group in the person of Frank Berry. Frank Berry, who was called by all Brother Berry, has lived a constructive life in the city of Meridian for approximately 50 years. He was at one time one of the leading bricklayers of the city. For a number of years, he was associated in the undertaking business with Henry Strayhorn Sr. The name of Frank Berry was a household word in Meridian and vicinity. He has fought a good fight and has paid the debt that all of us must pay. He leaves a wife, 2 daughters, 2 sisters, a brother, several grandchildren, and other relatives. As we go to press, funeral arrangements have not been completed. It has been stated by his pastor, Reverend E.A. Mays, that the funeral will be held sometime Sunday in the new St. Paul Methodist Church. The beautiful church building has not been completed. However, we think it's quite befitting, even though the church has not been completed, to take the body of Brother Berry in the church of his choice, the church that he has so loyally supported for these years, for the last ceremonial rites. We extend to the entire family our deepest sympathy in the passing of this noble character whom God permitted to live to a ripe old age. From the Weekly Echo newspaper on December 27, 1940. Mrs. Lula Beal, the wife of J.S. Son Beal of Meridian. Mrs. Beal had been indisposed since the month of August of this year. She was in Anderson Hospital for several weeks. After she began to improve, she went to the home of her daughter, Mrs. Minnie Pearl Strayhorn, as she still showed signs of improvement, and spent several weeks with her other daughter, Mrs. Velma Young. She then went back to her home on 16th Avenue and 19th Street. All medical aid and skill seemed to fail to reach her case, and instead of steady improvement after some recuperation, it was found that Mrs. Beal was steadily going down, and on Sunday, December 19th at noon, she breathed her last. Mrs. Beal was an outstanding character of this city and highly respected by all. She was the mother of 10 children, 6 of whom still live. She was one of the most loyal members on roll in New Hope Baptist Church. The funeral was held Tuesday at 12 noon at New Hope Baptist Church, with the Reverend Luke Beard, pastor, delivering the funeral oration, which was timely with touching effect. It was not one of those funeral orations to stir the emotion of the bereaved family, but rather one that would console the family and help others to live better lives. Some of those appearing on the program were Reverend C.C. Walker, R.L. Young, E.A. Mays, Professor and Mrs. J.B. Pettis, and the New Hope Choir. Remarks were made by Reverend B.W. Coates. She leaves a husband, Mr. John S. Beal, a mother and father, Mr. and Mrs. Neely Johnson, 2 daughters, Mrs. Minnie Pearl Strayhorn and Velma Young, 4 sons, Joe, Lamond, Willie Edgar, and James O. Beal, 1 sister, Mrs. Maggie Brooks, 2 brothers, Willie and Milton Johnson, and a host of other relatives and friends to mourn her passing. The beautiful steel casket was surrounded with an avalanche of beautiful flowers coming from friends of both races. From the Weekly Echo newspaper on September 5th, 1941. Son Beal laid to rest after a short illness. On Tuesday of last week, Mr. John S. Beal became seriously ill, and after having the service of several physicians and nurses, he passed to the great beyond on Monday, Labor Day, September 1st. Mr. Beal was affectionately called Son by both white and colored. He was practically reared in Meridian, having reached a high place in the business world. He started as a bootblack and a seller of old bones and rags. He was an outstanding citizen of Meridian. He was an asset to the city. He was a splendid provider for his wife and family. Mrs. Lula Beal, his wife, passed about 8 or 9 months ago. Mr. Beal was the proprietor of Beal's Hotel and Cafe at one time, and he and his son-in-law were partners in the Beal and Strayhorn Funeral Home. He owned quite a bit of property in Meridian. He owned a nice swimming pool for colored people on 10th Avenue known as Lake Erie Beach. The city buses regularly carried passengers to and from Lake Erie Beach. Without a doubt, Mr. John S. Beal was better known in Meridian from a business standpoint than any member of our group. He was a strong member and supporter of the HBA. He leaves 6 children: Minnie Pearl Strayhorn, Velma Young, Lamond, Joe, Willie Edgar, and James O. Beal. 4 sisters: W.B. Block, Alex Harris, Laureen Gamblin, and Mrs. Minnie Beal, together with a large number of other relatives and friends. The funeral was conducted Thursday at 12 o'clock from St. Paul Methodist Church. Thank you for watching. Comment, like, and subscribe.